Algeria facing global warming. Tomorrow, it may be too late. The wildfires currently affecting our country must wake us up. Forests are burning. Communities are under threat. And human lives are in danger. But beyond the immediate disaster, we must ask ourselves a much more serious question. What will happen to Algeria if we continue to do nothing about global warming? Every year, temperatures reach new record highs. Periods of drought are becoming longer. Rainfall is becoming more irregular and sometimes extremely violent, causing floods and disasters. What we are experiencing today may be only the beginning. Algeria is among the countries that could be particularly affected by the consequences of climate change. We can no longer consider every wildfire, every flood, or every heatwave as an isolated event. The hotter temperatures become, the drier the soil becomes. The drier the soil becomes, the greater the risk of wildfires. The more forests disappear, the more vulnerable our environment becomes. And the longer we wait to act, the more difficult and costly it becomes to repair the damage. We must understand one reality. We cannot always turn back the clock. A destroyed forest cannot be restored in just a few years. A species that disappears does not come back. Some consequences may become irreversible. That is why Algeria must take rapid and courageous decisions. Among these decisions, we must gradually rethink our policy of fuel subsidies. We cannot continue indefinitely to sell fuel at a loss or at an artificially low price without measuring the consequences. Very cheap fuel encourages excessive consumption. It encourages the use of private cars. And it contributes to pollution. But this is not about suddenly penalizing citizens. The money currently spent on artificially maintaining fuel prices should gradually be redirected toward protecting our environment and modernizing our transportation systems. The state must invest massively in modern, comfortable, air-conditioned, and non-polluting public transportation. Especially electric buses. These forms of transportation must be subsidized so that they remain accessible to all citizens. We cannot ask Algerians to leave their cars at home if public transportation is insufficient, uncomfortable, unreliable, or too expensive. To change people's behavior, we must first offer them a better solution. The state must also encourage and subsidize the use of conventional bicycles and electric bicycles. A bicycle is a simple, affordable, and non-polluting means of transportation. In many cities, it can be a real alternative to the car for short journeys. The state could help citizens purchase bicycles and electric bicycles. It must also develop safe bicycle lanes and provide suitable parking facilities. But we must also produce these means of transportation locally. Algeria must encourage the opening of factories and the creation of special economic zones dedicated to industries that directly contribute to protecting our planet. In particular, we must encourage the local manufacturing of conventional bicycles, electric buses, photovoltaic panels, batteries, and equipment related to renewable energy. These zones could offer investors a suitable environment, modern infrastructure, and temporary tax incentives in exchange for clear commitments regarding production, job creation, and environmental protection. Algeria must not simply buy clean technologies produced by other countries. It must also learn how to produce them. The money currently spent on supporting fuel consumption could gradually be used to subsidize clean mobility and develop the industries that will prepare our future. We must also invest in renewable energy, in forest protection, in wildfire prevention, in water protection, and in adapting our cities to new climate realities. We must stop thinking that we will always have time to act later. We will not always have time. Every year we lose is another year in which the problems become worse. Our children and grandchildren must not inherit a hotter, drier, more polluted, and more vulnerable country simply because we refuse to make difficult decisions today. We already know what awaits us if we do nothing. More wildfires. More heat. More drought. More violent rainfall. More severe floods. And increasing pressure on water, agriculture, and our natural resources. We must not wait until these problems become uncontrollable. Tomorrow, it may be too late for some decisions. Global warming will not wait until we are ready. We received this country from our parents. We have a responsibility to pass it on to our children in the best possible condition. Algeria must act now. Not tomorrow. Not when our forests have disappeared. Not when water becomes even scarcer. Now. Because tomorrow, it may be too late. Thank you for your attention. Jalel Hadj-moussa.